self-worth. Your practice will never outgrow your self-esteem.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to ChiroRx, where we talk business growth for, well, chiropractors. Today's guest is Dr. Sebastian Bonnin, who is the founder of Align Life Clinics, and he is also a coach at the Remarkable Practice. Sebastian was having the best year ever, 16 years into practice, averaging $120K per month, when Hurricane Maria came in, hit Puerto Rico, and took everything to zero overnight. No patients, no power, and no revenue for months. And where he takes things next is what makes this conversation so interesting. Instead of shrinking, he took his practice from 1 location to 3 locations in 18 months. In this episode, Sebastian gets into what it actually takes to rebuild from nothing, why your practice will never outgrow your self-esteem, and how he went from doing spinal screenings covered in mosquitoes in a supermarket to growing to 4 locations across 2 markets. If you are a practice owner that feels stuck and knows there's another level that you can't tap into, this episode's for you. Let's dive in. Sebastian from Puerto Rico. How we doing, my man?
What's up? I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Doing great, man. Let's jump right into this. So you were having your best year in 16 years of practice. What did it feel like when all of the things kind of came crashing down on you and everything kind of went to zero? I'd love to know what happened in that traumatic
Yeah,
event. Yeah.
yeah, right. Hurricane Maria, 2017. Yeah, that was a interesting time. The on the pandemia, everyone is like the whole world is in chaos, right? So everyone's on the same boat. But when that hurricane hit Puerto Rico, everybody was doing well except us. We were really having a tough time. So I felt not alienated, but just I was in an island, like literally in an island that was just devastated and everything just stopped. Right. I was having my best year, 2017, averaging, I don't know, 120K a month. We were rocking and rolling. I was like, wow, I'm definitely gifting myself with this awesome watch that I wanted to buy when I hit like this goal, and I was just super excited. Best year, and yeah, it went all to from 100 miles per hour to 0 miles per hour in less than 24 hours. So that's when all this training on your morning rituals and journaling and your gratitude, you know, journal and prayer and all of this that they tell you, oh, you need all this to protect your state, right? Your energy. That's when all really came to be of incredible uh, use. I think the fact that I was able to build that muscle throughout the years, I was able to navigate. I was prepared to navigate these waters because they were super uncertain. Maybe your businesses haven't been hit by a hurricane uh, but you've been hit by a back lesion that you cannot go and practice. You lost your key team member and now you have to go back and do it all yourself again. I don't know what's been your hurricane in your life, right? We all go through hurricanes. So yeah, man, the first lesson was underestimate the problem. I was like, we're cash prepay. People don't have to reach into their pockets to come and get checked. So, maybe 2 weeks and we'll be right into seeing, 400 a week again. And, that first week we saw 15 people
Damn.
and like, I don't know, the last 5 or 6 patients that prepaid their care came back and said, I need my money back. I lost my roof. I need my money back. I'm leaving to the United States until this is done. I need my money back. Whatever the reason, I'm like, absolutely here. 3 grand, 6 grand, 2 grand. Like, and it was like, you know, you couldn't. I couldn't say anything. You just have to do what you had to do. So then I'm like, we'll be all right for a month, right? And no, man, took 90 days to finally get electricity. So, I have 4 offices, 2 here in Puerto Rico, 2 in the United States, which actually, thanks to that hurricane, that's when those 2 offices came about. So I'll talk about that later. Like the biggest accelerator of my goals, my long-term goals, were my 2 worst moments, which was the hurricane and the lockdown, the pandemic. Those were the biggest accelerators. Like, thanks to those 2 things, I accelerated like 12, 15 years of goals. Yeah, it was nuts. I couldn't. I'm like, wait, wow. Oh, wow, look at this. My 10-year vision's done in a year. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, people, I don't like the word celebrity, but that's what a lot of uh, people see me here in Puerto Rico. I was in TV for like 2.5 years every week, talking about chiropractic and the principle and having autistic children, like reversing autism, and appearing on TV and saying this is what happened with chiropractic, like really cool stuff. I couldn't hear, now I'm hearing. I couldn't move, now I'm moving, and everything in between. So chiropractic had a huge platform, and that came to a halt. So there was no marketing coming in. I didn't need to do any digital marketing because I was fully on TV. We're seeing 100 new patients a month. It was ridiculous, the amount of people we were seeing, and before the hurricane. So what happened was that I had to go back to basics, and I don't know about you, man, but I hate doing spinal screening. I do not enjoy that at all. Um,
I think a lot of
so
docs would resonate with that, to be honest.
yeah,
So
but I didn't have any money. I told my team, and I had 2 associate doctors. I'm like, listen, I can't pay you. So if you want to leave, you can leave. But if you stay and you help me through this and we navigate this together, I'll remember. So I kept my whole team and nobody left,
even when you weren't paying them, they stuck around.
stuck around. I still took care of them from my own personal savings, and the savings of the office. But, you prepare for what, 3 months, 6 months top of peace of mind fund or rainy day fund, however people call it. You don't prepare for 14 months when your overhead is 60 grand on the low end. No.
What can you go back to you said that the pandemic and then also this hurricane were the biggest growth accelerators for your practice? Dive into that for me. What does that mean? What happened?
Yeah, if you've watched any of Tony Robbins, podcasts, or if you've been to any of the seminars, he always says, there's certain skills that you need to master. And one of the skills that he mentions is mastering the skill of meaning. When life happens to you, is it happening to you or for you? And what's the meaning? You got to be a master at meaning, because the meaning is one of the things that is going to generate your emotional state. The other two things that generate your emotional state, like how you feel on a consistent basis, is your focus and your language. So, what are you focusing on? That's the first decision. That's the first thing that generates your emotions. What does it mean? And the language around it. And then what are you going to do about it? Which is the action. So, people, when shit hits the fan, they focus on, okay, I need to do, but they start doing from a place of unresourcefulness, right? They're frustrated, angry, I was frustrated. I was angry. I remember going to bed uh, one night after, I don't know, man. I think it was at the end of the third month of these things. No electricity. I was going in the office on shorts and t-shirt on my bike to save gasoline because it was an 8 hour long uh, line to get gasoline, 8 hours to get some cash out of the bank. There's no room for health when your basic fundamental needs are not met, right? So it was food, water, shelter, and diesel. Those four things. That's it. Health, no. Organic tomatoes, no. They don't, nobody give a shit about anything other than, you know, can I eat something, water, do I have a roof and it's safe, and then diesel. That was a catastrophe economy. And that was pretty interesting because I've been in, Puerto Rico is a bankrupt economy. We've been through inflation economy, depression economy, hyperinflation economy. I coach doctors. I used to coach doctors in Argentina, like super hyperinflation, growing economies. Brazil. I used to coach Brazil doctors too. Being able to experience how the systems work in all these different economies, and they all work the same because you're the one executing. You're the cause. You're the effect. Um, but a catastrophe economy, that was a new one. That was a new one. And there was no room for health. Then the guy that sold the most hard pacers in Puerto Rico, he was my neighbor, and he invited me to lunch. He's like, "Hey man, can we talk?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He knows I have businesses, whatever, and he's like, How are you? How's your business?" Like, dude, I'm horrible. I'm like, struggling, but I was, with a smile. I really wasn't, I wasn't like, yeah, I wasn't there. I was like impressed. I was astonished. I was in awe. I'm like, wow, this is really happening. That's pretty freaking interesting. So he says, I used to sell 10, 15 hard paces a month, something like that. I haven't sold one 3 months. And I'm like, well, sickness hasn't left. It wasn't blown away by the wind. So what's up? It's like people are calling in and saying to the cardiologist, "Hey, can I have an open heart surgery in 2 weeks. Can we postpone this? Will I survive if I postpone it? So I can't do it right now." And that was, they were like, "Yeah, I mean, you're at your own risk, but yeah, sure. For when?" So, sickness didn't leave, but definitely priorities changed. So I had to reinvent myself. I had to go back to square one and go back to doing spinal screens, which I hate. Like, so, life is not happening to me, it's happening for me. I remember going to bed angry. I was angry. I was angry. I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, I, this is, what's up? Like, this is not, and I catch myself angry and I'm like, whoa. Then I figure what had happened. Everything in nature was broken. Everything, the feedback you were getting from your environment was brokenness, death, destruction. That's the feedback. So that's all you see. Huge trees, on the side of the streets, trees you've been watching for 40 years of your life. Do you remember Avatar? Do you saw the movie Avatar? Do
Yeah.
you remember how you felt when they tore down the tree of life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You remember how you felt? That's that.
Yeah.
Imagine constantly on that, your environment feeding you that. So of course, unconsciously, it was really hard to be positive and in gratitude and enthusiastic and passionate.
What was the meaning you gave to it then, right? Like, I think I'm understanding what you're saying here in terms of, okay, the focus at the moment feels like you're focused on the destruction and the dismay of your business and the environment and the trees and everything. And it's like, okay, if that is what's happening, How do you reframe the meaning around that to make it productive? Or how did you?
It was beyond painful. It was life or death. It was, I really need to do something radical. I cannot expect to things change if I don't change. Like my what and then one thing in my life, everything that I feel like I don't want to do, I don't feel like doing this. Like I don't feel like going to this seminar. I don't feel like doing a spinal screening, which was what it was. I don't feel like, doing a corporate talk. I don't feel like writing an article and calling the local TV station. I don't feel like whatever. That's the sign. Matthew McConaughey's book Green Light. That's the green light, which is like, yeah, that's the way. That's what you should do. So I'm like, what I don't feel like doing right now. And then it was like this, boom, spinal screening. I'm like, I don't shit. I need to go to do a spinal screening. Are you keep where am I gonna do a spinal screening? Boom. And the answer right there on uh Coles supermarket, which is a supermarket next to my office. He's a patient, and it's a small boutique supermarket. And that's where everyone is at supermarkets. These are the only places that have generator, that have electricity, and there's food. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I haven't talked to Cole in a while. I haven't seen this guy in a while. He's a patient, but he hasn't been in the office in a while. I'm like, all right, just gotta do what you gotta do. So went in there, say, hey, Cole, brother, what's up? How are you? Listen, man, um, I am going to be, I asked God, and God answered me. And he said to come to you. I told him the truth. To come to you, to ask you if you will let me do what we call spinal screening, which is we basically um, offer the chiropractic evaluation to all your clients. And the way I frame it is that, because they're your clients, they're going to receive a $300 discount in our office just because it's a benefit to being your client. So, do you mind if I just set up outside and, help me save some lives? And he's like, oh, of course. Do you need me to advertise it in all the TVs in the store? And I'm like, uh, yeah. Do you need a table? I'm like, uh, yeah. Do you need chair? I'm like, yeah. Um, I'll put a security guard next to you just so that you're there comfortable. I'm like, bro, do you need what else do you need? I'm like, that's it, man. Oh, you know what I need? I need you to go to the office. That's what I need you to go. So sure enough, man, I'm there. I'm standing there. I'm like, bro, ego out of the window. People, I told you, people recognize, aren't you the guy from TV? Like, what are you doing here? Sweat. You could feel the sweat coming down my legs. I was like, oh, the mosquitoes, bro, they were eating off. Like we use off here in Puerto Rico. I know that's horrible, but that's the only thing that works. These mosquitoes here are like next level. They're intelligent. So we, like smelling like off, sweaty, and basically, it's a small supermarket. Like the aisles are literally like like 3 feet wide. It's a very small supermarket, and in order for you to get the shopping cart, you needed to pass in front of me. So I was like, how do I engage people? And then right there, like God, just the innate, just like boom, answering right there. Hand them the cart, and then I'm like, oh, I know what I'm gonna say. Hi, good afternoon. Um, the soup of the day is lentil soup, and the special of the day is the chiropractic valuation in my office. I'm Dr. Sebastian Bonnin. Nice to meet you. I'm gonna be here when you come out. If you are to see if you're eligible to participate in our office, and they're like, all right, like what is this guy? The policeman was like, this guy's crazy. So I didn't feel like doing that. I really had to step out of my comfort zone. I needed to get creative. I needed to do something obnoxious, radical, different. I needed to shift my energy. Because what happened that I forgot to tell you was that the night before, I asked God, like, all right, I need your help. Because tomorrow, everything is going to change. And then, I was hoping I was going to dream about what I had to do. No dreams. I woke up, nothing, bro. I meditated, nothing. I'm like, and this guy really listening? I get on my bicycle right down, I'm all sweaty. I get to the office, the computer is not working. We only have one computer and one fan because we didn't have a generator. The generators took 3 months to get to Puerto Rico. Once I got the generator, that's when the light came on. So the generator came in the day after the electricity came back. That's how crazy. So sure enough, man, at the moment I least expected it, boom. That's when I started getting ideas. I chose to take action because I didn't feel like taking action. I think that's one of the main points I really wanted to bring to your audience. What are you really evading? What do you not feel like doing? Is it an AI course that you don't want to take? Is it relationship you need to end? Is it a doctor you need to hire? Is it a doctor you need to fire? Do you need to fire yourself? Um, what you don't feel like doing?
Yeah. I feel like so often the greatest growth comes from the work we're most procrastinating. How were you able then to go from that state of scraping to get by, doing spinal screenings to get new patients, to eventually finding yourself now at 4 practices? Like what was the growth that needed to happen as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, to like work through those different levels to even have the mentality to grow that to that size?
Not because I knew I wanted more offices. I just didn't know when that was going to happen. It's just that necessity is the mother of creation. Is that
Yeah.
necessity is the mother of invention. I don't know if that's how you say it, but I realized that all my eggs were in one basket. So I was exposed. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot go to another office right now. I start making stuff happen. I need offices in the United States. I need offices in other markets. I need to expand. And then I'm like, wow, I need to expand now out of necessity rather out of the mission. I was like, oh, okay, okay. All right. I get it. I've been a little bit selfish, I've been enjoying the distraction of success. It was time to push forward, which really it was super cool because when the pandemic happened, I was like, dude, we guys, come on, stop crying. You don't know what hard is. Come on, I really couldn't relate. I was like, man, you're all crybabies. You kidding me? You can't compare. But still, it was tough times for everyone.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to like, I mean, even to raise the funds to do it, to have the
Yeah.
team, the systems, the process, like what did that actually look
And
like
there's so many
fundamentally?
levels. Yeah, so many levels to this. First of all, how much leverage you have on your team. How much, if you lost everything and you couldn't pay your team, will your team stick to you or will they leave you in a heartbeat? That was feedback, man. That was like, wow, that was cool. I think that was cool. That was good feedback. I tend to be really hard on myself on how good of a leader I'm being to my team. I always think I'm not being enough for them, which is good because it's always striving me to be better, but it never allows me to really enjoy the fruits of how I'm being with my team. So when that happened, I got to enjoy it. See what I'm saying? I got to enjoy what I've been cultivating, like these seeds that I've been cultivating with my team. I got to enjoy them. And they stuck it through with me. So that was cool. That was really cool. And of course, they saw me that I was struggling just like them. I was able and willing to take action. Like Whatever I asked of them, I was doing but 10 times more. Yeah.
You say attraction is a reflection of your certainty, conversion is a reflection of your conviction, and retention is a reflection of your clarity. Can you break that down for someone who feels stuck and they're trying to like get to the next level?
Yeah, if you're struggling with new patients, it's not a lack of new patients, it's a lack of certainty. This yesterday was talking about looking at the mirror and says how you gotta you gotta do the word, not just not listen to the word, but you gotta do the word, right? So they were talking about that. And when you just listen to the word but you don't do the word, it's like seeing yourself in a mirror and then forgetting who you are. And you see yourself in a mirror, you walk away, and then you forget who you are. So if you're lacking new patience, it's not because there's a lack of people who need your care. It's that you're most probably struggling with your certainty. How much certainty you have on your adjustment, on your skill set, how much certainty you have on your philosophy, how much certainty you have on your business acumen, how much certainty you have on your communication skills, how much certainty you have on your administration skills as an owner operator, how much certainty you have now. So the question that precedes that is, what needs to happen for you to feel certain? And if for you to feel certain, what needs to happen is that you need 100 new patients a month. You need $1 million saved, 80% conversion percentage. Well, it's going to be very hard for you to feel certain. What needs to happen for you to feel certain in your life? Security. Like, really think about that, because these are the rules around a basic fundamental need that we all have as a human being. So if you make it, and these rules you make up, you come up with these rules. Some of them you inherited from your parents, teachers, preachers, you know how it is. But some of them you came up with them. You know, Let me give you an example. For me to feel certain that my mother loves me and I have a really good relationship with my mother, I need to talk to her every day, 3 times a week, 3 times a day. Do you know how much stress that she was causing me, bro? I didn't call my mother 3 times. I'm not being a good son, right? And then I'm like, wow, what needs to happen for me to feel certain that I'm being a good son? Wow, look at this rule. I need to talk to my mother 3 times a day. Who came up with this BS rule? And then I came up with a new rule. I'm like, well, whenever I think about my mom, she's gonna feel it because we're all connected. I mean, she gave birth to me, so she's gonna feel it. She's gonna feel my love, and that's gonna be more than enough. And bro, sure enough, my relationship with my mother quadruple in quality just because I changed my rules. So, what needs to happen for you to feel certain?
What's common for doctors? I know you do a lot of coaching, obviously, and you talk to a lot of chiropractic business owners. What is the stories or the rules that you often see people telling themselves that aren't serving themselves? Like, what are the commonalities you notice?
Self worth. Your practice will never outgrow your self esteem, your
Ooh,
self worth.
oh,
So, self esteem comes from self worth, self value, how much value you put on yourself, how valuable you think you are or you perceive you are. So, valuable comes from value, core values. So, that's the core conversation. What are your core values? What And success leaves clues. So what you need to do is find a mentor or two and find out what their top 4 or 5 core values are, and live your life according to those core values, and you're gonna get the same results. So self-worth, self-esteem, and I think the number one thing that we do to ourselves to damage that self-esteem so that we can bring our businesses down to a level that we feel comfortable at by not doing the things that we're gonna say we're gonna do.
Mm.
Okay, this month I'm gonna get 20 new patients. Okay, what do you need to do that? I'm gonna call, I'm gonna ask for referrals, and then you don't do it. And worse, you say that to your team, and then your team sees that you don't do it. And that's how you start losing respect with your team and trust with your team. I remember a doctor, he opened his office, and the first month he had 30 new patients, 30 day ones. Guess how many of those 30 day ones started care?
5.
Yeah, right. If you don't have systems and you love chiropractic, which he did, and you understand the philosophy of chiropractic, which he did, and you can communicate that philosophy in a way that people understand, which he did, and you can deliver an adjustment that it's pretty good for a new guy, which he did. I mean, you can at least start 15 people, 50%, half. I mean, you gotta suck to start half of the people that go to you, because the hardest thing is to enter through the door. They are already in the door. They already in your office. They already did the hardest thing, which is to walk in your door. So now it's just a matter of you screwing it up, right? So 50%. Well, if you don't have systems, if you're not a salesperson, you convert then 30, 30, 20 to 30 people, because 20% of people are not going to start care. It doesn't matter what you do or say. Other 20% will start care. It doesn't matter what you do or say. And there's the 60%. And the expectation is that 80% of that 60% starts. So you have 80% of 60 is 48, plus the 20%, 68. So your conversion percentage should be 68% if your pricing is right. If you're converting more than 80%, your pricing is not right, and that's an equally bad problem to have. So he converted 0, bro.
0.
0. And I'm like, all right. I sat down with him. I'm like, all right, bro, listen, man. It's not that your abundance channel is blocked. It's not that this tube is small in your life. It's that this thing is non-existent. You're like completely detached from the matrix, the abundance flow and God. I don't know what you want to call it, bro. This is just not normal. This is a massive subluxation, and that's interference. And I know that interference comes from, and there's energy, and this is spiritual. And I know that the number one most common source of spiritual and emotional disconnect and subluxation is relationships. So let's audit your relationships from 0 to 10. 10 being this relationship is in excellence, 0 is no non-existence. How's your relationship with your wife? And I'm like, he's like 8. And I'm like, okay, awesome, because that's a huge one. That's the closest one to him, other than the relationship with himself, which is, I know it's already broken. So I need to fix this thing. So I'm like, okay, are your parents alive? He's like, my dad died when I was in chiropractic school. And I'm like, all right, sorry to hear that. Give me a number. 3. And I'm like, 3. Okay, that's the first letter you gotta write. He's like, letter. I'm like, don't worry, I'll explain later. How about your mother? 2. 2. All right, that's the second letter you gotta write. How about what else? I have a sister. All right, put a number. 3.
Mm.
Your relationship with your sister is a 3? Yeah. All right, that's the third letter you gotta write. Anything else? No. Anyone else? No. How about a neighbor, a friend? Like somebody betrayed you, like somebody robbed you? Like, no, 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 no. Okay. How about the government? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, no. Okay. a priest. You have been abused. No, okay. All right. Well, you need to write 3 letters, one to your mother, sister, father, but there's a 4th letter you need to write.
To
And it's
yourself.
like, I know, to myself, right? And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, no, 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 that's the last one. That's the least I'm concerned with. Because you know this already. You just don't know how to you already been in sailboats. You just don't know how sails work. You just don't know how wind works. You know how to move a sailboat if someone's pushing you with an engine behind you. You just don't know how to sail with the stars and the wind. So you're gonna write a forgiveness letter to money. Like
Hmm.
money. So yeah, man. Uh just think about money as a person right now. So if has money been a source of pain in your life? It's like, yeah, massive pain. Is the reason why my family is divided. Is family an important thing to you? It's like my number one core value. So imagine money destroyed his family. So, okay, so then money, if money were a person and this person has been a massive source of pain in your life, would you like this person around you? No. Would you like this person to be very near you and have an abundance of that person all over your life? No. Would you like to spend time with this person and travel with this person and buy things together and enjoy things together with this person in abundance? No, no. What would you do? Would you like push it away from your life? Absolutely. Would you like do anything to like not even see it near you? 100%. And I'm like, well, you need to write a forgiveness letter to money, bro. Because money is God in action. And you've been pushing it away. So I explained to him the dynamics of the forgiveness letter. Just go on Google, ChatGPT it. I don't want to get into it. Basically, you say, I'm sorry for, and you take self responsibility. Then you say thank you for them, how they were with you, because it was all your perception, and how was that a blessing in your life. Uh, and in the end, you choose if you want to send that letter or not. Uh, that's your choice. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you write it. That was a Thursday, right? He needed to call me Thursday afternoon, and the next shift is Friday morning. So he didn't call me at the end of Thursday. I'm like, oh man, this guy. And I'm not a patient person. I'm not wired that way. I've been much better thanks to my teens, but this guy really tested me. Friday comes, he didn't call me in the beginning of the day. He didn't call me at noon. And then at 3 p.m., no, 5 p.m., at the end of the day, I receive a text message saying, hey, I wrote the letters to my parents, to my dad. I wrote a letter to my dad. And, funny how things work. I didn't have to write a letter to my mother because she called me out of the blues and we talked for half hour. The most they will talk in the phone was 3 minutes.
Wow.
So I'm like, clear signs that you're doing the work. So I'm like really refraining from, you know, mother flower, So I'm like, right, clear signs that this is working. And he's like, yeah, but there's this letter that it really was too so hard for me. I couldn't even almost write it, and it's filled with tears. And it was a muddy letter.
Mm.
Next, so that's a Friday. Monday, we have 7 day tours scheduled. So what I don't want to do is give in to my leadership gap, which is the arrogant uh, fixer. So it's like, all right, step outside of the vehicle. This is how you do things. Look, you suck. I am great, right? Because you gotta go in and fix your shit, right? So I cannot give in to that. That was the biggest, like, I was like, oh my God, this is hard. Because I'm like, dude, there's like literally 14 grand at the least and 21 grand on the table right there. There's 7 lives and the life of that business. So 8 lives and my life, my mind life. And this guy, Monday comes and I had in it was very clear. It's like, go do the first day too. All my friends, you gotta go in there, do this the day, you gotta go in there, you gotta go in, you gotta fix it, man, you gotta do this. So everything around me was telling me what to do, but I listened to my innate voice, God within. I did the first one. I walk in, I didn't do the day one. Hey, Dr. Sebastian. And I'm like, oh, this mother flower knows me. That's not fair because this guy knows me.
Right.
So if I convert,
Sold.
it doesn't. I
Yeah.
know that he's already sold, right? All right, so check this out. He didn't convert.
Oh.
He sent me all the objections, all of them. I leave tomorrow on a trip with my wife who has terminal cancer. I don't know if my wife is going to survive this trip. I have all my money into this. Like, I'm like, can I get a worse possible situation than that, than this one? Like, literally. And then, bro, as he's seeing this, and I'm buying his story out of compassion, not empathy, I'm like, oh, he's leading me and not leading him. And then I stop him. I'm like, listen, man, I hear you, but this is exactly what you need to start care because your wife has cancer, because you cannot afford it, because like all the things, all the reasons, that's exactly why he needed to start care. And he says he didn't. He left in 2 days. So he, I'm like, get adjusted, get you connected, and you're gonna bring your wife tomorrow because now I understand why you're here. It's because your wife needs to be here. So I don't care if you don't want to get care, you're bringing her tomorrow to get evaluated. So he got adjusted, comes next morning, prepays care, brings the wife, goes to the trip, and it was fantastic. But for the day, for Monday, that happened Tuesday and Wednesday. But for Monday, I did the first day too. So it was a loss. It was like a loss, like I didn't convert it, right? But he saw everything. So guess how many he closed from the rest of the 6?
Tell me all of them.
None of them.
Oh no.
But everything changed on Tuesday. Everything changed on Tuesday. Everything changed. I don't know, man. God is good, bro.
What do you feel like is the big wrap in a bow takeaway from that experience? I mean, you alluded to it earlier of just how important your self-esteem and self-belief is and your mentality and your limiting beliefs. I mean, is it safe to say, I mean, I'm curious as your insights on this, but is it safe to say that like the fundamental crux of people's inability to grow their practice just literally comes down to their belief in their ability to do so?
Yeah, man. It's all in the mind. The reason I don't have 50 offices right now is because it's in my mind. I don't want 50 offices. If you ask me, I don't want it. I don't want it. That's why I don't have it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I haven't I'll be 49 this year. I haven't married. I don't have kids because I up until this year it wasn't something I wanted. Now I want it. Now I'm like, yeah. Now my heart is open to it. And then, the whole energy is shifting. You know, your destiny is created in the moments of decision, and that's not my quote. It's Tony Robbins quote. Destiny is formed in your moments of decision. Isn't that true? So when you draw solid yellow lines in your life, you're totally collapsing everything that was going to happen based on the trajectory you were with the mindset and the decisions. You're collapsing all that reality, and the universe is reorganizing that energy so that you create this different reality. Only one decision. So it takes time to see the fruits of your decisions. You got to be patient. So this is when you got to go in and meditate and really take care of your energy and build teams around you to protect your energy.
The definition of the word decide is to cut off all other options. There's a great book, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv
I
Eker.
love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
So
Cool book.
one of the things that I seem to hold on to and seems to live rent free in my brain is just that concept of how if you have negative beliefs around people that have money or money in general, you can never expect to obtain it because we don't move towards pain. So the common example that he uses in the book is like if you see somebody in a nice fancy car, a Ferrari or whatever it is, and your brain immediately goes like, "Oh, they must have scammed, they must be a
Right.
bad person, they must
Oh,
have done
you.
all these horrible things." You will never have that car because you associate negative things with everything around the money it took to get that car. And so like whenever I see a nice car now, I actually go straight to just because like it's mental training is like, oh man, they must have worked really hard, or they must have helped a lot of people, or they must have made a really big impact on the community to be able to afford something like that, which changes everything.
I
Yeah.
would love to see, success leads clues. Have you seen this guy who interviews people in Instagram,
Yeah.
billionaires, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's a
Hard
great
knocks,
example.
hard
Yeah,
knocks or something like that.
something
Yeah.
like that. It's done a
Yeah.
great job.
Well, this has probably gone way longer than you expected, and you are
Yeah,
honestly one of
tw
you're
20
you're
minutes.
you're you're honestly one of my favorite storytellers. I actually remember at one of the TRP conferences, you told the story of Blue and how he kind of got stolen and your car got stolen, and like it was just such a fun story. Like you're such a phenomenal storyteller, man. I love it. But I want to kind of like land this plane and close things out with basically anything a chiropractic business owner, doctor should self-reflect on in terms of to be able to break some of those self-limiting beliefs. Because like if the crux of a practice's ability to grow really is their mindset. I mean, you gave the phenomenal example of writing a letter to like shattered relationships in your life and even your relationship with money. But I'm curious if there's any other insights or takeaways or practices you do with other practice owners that really
Yeah.
help them to self-reflect or even to break through some of those self-limiting beliefs to
Oh,
kind of
man.
get them to the next
Yeah.
level. But
We all experience some kind of stuck in practice or businesses. If it's not in attracting new patients, like if you're not lacking new patients, that you're not converting enough of them. Well, you're attracting enough, you're converting, but you're not retaining them. You're retaining greatly, but your team, you have a big turnover. You can't keep a team, can't build a cohesive leadership team around you. There's always something, okay, that is going to always challenge you. It's designed to be that way. It's designed not to be comfortable. When it gets comfortable, it's going to get really boring. And if you hate being bored, you're going to always create drama in your businesses. That's why you systemize this thing and you build it to sell it. Because by the time you get bored, don't sabotage it, sell it, go into the next thing, and now create new dramas and test yourself in this new skill set that you have, right? Because you build this team. So a lot of people listening have some kind of stuck. Whether you're a student, you cannot adjust C2, or you cannot get that C7, T1. It's always, you know, eh, your practice is a living organism. And the natural state of every living organism is growth. So when you're not growing, there must be something interfering with that growth. So answering your question is uh, knowing where the constraints of your businesses are. I know I lack new patients. No, what you lack is certainty. Okay, then now it changes the question. How can I build certainty? How can I become a more certain leader? That's when you need a coach.
On that note,
How about conversion?
mm,
Well, I need to convert. It's like conviction. One of my doctors is like low on conversions. It's like his conviction. So today I told him, so listen, man, if I mentioned Hitler because here in Puerto Rico we see this guy as this like military guy that we all are scared of. So it's like if Hitler came in sandals, bathing suits, and a tank top, skinny and ugly, because he gets ugly and like weak, and he said, "Hey, man, we're gonna take you in. You're arrested." Versus him coming in dressed, calm, like you see him on movies, and he's coming in with his physiology and his accent. You're arrested. Would you feel a perceived difference in the words, exact same words? Will you perceive him differently? Yes. Well, that's why you need to dress up, bro. You can't be going in broken jeans and well, because that's my personality and I need to express my personality. Yes, I 100% agree. You got to earn that, my friend. You don't have celebrity status then. You are new to this game and you don't get it yet. Okay? You don't get it. You don't get it yet. So earn it. And to earn it, you got to dress the part. So show up early. Wake up early. Have breakfast. Take care of yourself. Don't skip lunch. Take a nap. Build value, self-worth. I told you earlier. Retaining, yeah, if your issue is your constraints on retention, you're lacking clarity around what your product is. And if you think your product is selling adjustments, you're missing the whole point. So we have a process of auditing your business and auditing your practice to reveal these constraints. And I do that in a call. We call that the discovery call, a strategy call. I'm sorry, it takes 30 minutes. And we do two things. We find out what you want to accomplish in the next 3 years, in the next year, and in the next 90 days. And then that takes pretty much the first 15 minutes. And then the last 15 minutes, we go over your whole entire business, what we call the accountability grid. And in the end, you're gonna know where the subluxations are. So it's like, what do you want to do with this? What do you think is the next step? You want to get this thing corrected, or are you gonna keep treating the symptoms and wishing this is gonna go away by its own? So yeah, I would like to offer that to people who are listening to your podcast. If they're interested in auditing their teams and their businesses. I'm sorry. I will do that complimentary. That's an $1,800 value. So that would be a gift for them listening to Cairo X and Dr. Corey.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate the time, man.
Absolutely,
It's
man.
always a pleasure seeing you.
Likewise, brother.